You moving on over?
Just changing here.
Oh, okay.
His is taller than mine, he's a lot taller than me.
Goldilocks. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's go ahead and get the work session underway. We really only have one item that we're discussing today, and that is our municipal purchasing law. So in your packet, we have an ordinance that we wrote up and just left blank until we, make a decision on what this limit is going to be. And so hopefully everyone's had a chance to kind of review this, if you had questions from the last time, so that we can be clear on what it is that we're trying to do here and all the processes that would occur with it. So I think at this time, I'm just going to open it up and let you guys ask questions, and hopefully Andre can help us give a little better explanation if I do not do a good job of explaining it. But basically, what we're trying to propose is that amount where we would not be required to have to advertise in the newspaper and wait and do a bid opening of those items. And if I'm interpreting this correctly, let's just say, for instance, we did put it at $25,000. Then what that means is that up to that amount, we would not have to advertise in the newspaper. But anything that was 40% of that amount, we would have to get 3 formal written quotes for that. Okay, so meaning that even though we already do that for anything that's any substantial amount, $2,500 or less, and we even get it on less than that right now, just as a standard process that we do. But anything that would be it would be required, anything over $10,000, to get those 3 formal quotes. But then the competitive bids would not occur until it was greater than $25,000. So if I've made that clear as mud, y'all start asking some questions.
So would competitive bids and city council approval both be anything over 25,000? Because it's got 401 and 403. Would it be 25,000 in both of those?
Now, for the competitive bid, it would be $25,000. And then the written quotations, if we set our limit as $25,000, the written quotations would be anything over 40% of that, which would be about $10,000. Correct.
You can set any amount you want for 403.
Okay.
I don't know why it would be less, but.
Yeah, so 401 and 403 would both be 25,000 if we set it that way.
Or 401 could be 25,000, 403 could be 10,000. That wouldn't make much sense, but you can do it that way.
I thought what we were talking about last time was anything over 20%, we would get 3 bids but only, not posting, not advertising. We could just go out and get 3 quotes. Then anything over 25,000, we had to publish and do like we did like we do now. Is that not correct?
Well, it's 40%. It would be 10,000. Anything over 10,000, we would do the written quotations, where it would be just where we get a formal quote, and that can be,
Yeah, I meant 40%.
Yes, 40% that you have to. But like I said, right now, even on smaller items, I'm asking them to go into the community and get, 3 bids, just to be fair, and for us to get, the best product. Not, sometimes it's not always you have to compare the product as well, the quality of what we're getting.
So anything under 25,000 would be, make sure I word this correctly, would be up to you or the mayor to decide which bid to go with, if you do get bids.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, based on, you know, like I said, the apples to apples, you know, product. And in all honesty, I think that would keep it in our community even more, because once you put it out there to advertise, I mean, I've had people from outside this city after we'd already awarded a bid to say, hey, have you awarded the bid? And so I feel like that, you know, it would actually keep it more local than it would by, you know, advertising to the community if we're worried about the local dollars or the local, you know, going outside of our community.
Okay. Unless I'm looking at our competitive bids, written quotations, we got a little ground in there that's not covered by anything. Under 10,000, they can just order. If, yeah, right.
Well, no, they can't do, everything comes, I mean, they can't just order, so. But, yes, the city.
The administration can just order.
Correct,
Without
correct,
any bids, right?
correct.
And where do we put that in here? In this resolution?
Well, I think if you are saying that you do the 40%, that you have to have something, that you have to have a written quotation for anything that is over 40% of whatever amount we set, that would just leave us below 10,000 where we don't have to have it.
Well, let's make it easy and say we set 25,000. And, okay, I'm below the 10,000. Where can I write a figure that says below 10,000, we don't have to get competitive bids?
Well, somebody help me if I'm not, the one that says the
Help
40.
me, Andre. I can't see where that's in here.
That's what 401 and 402 read together. Means you only have to get a bid if it's over 25,000, and you only have to get a written quotation if it's over 10,000. Which means if it's under that, you don't have to do those things.
Because of where it says 40%, that covers that. I mean, not in that exact terminology, but when you take 40% of 25,000, that's gonna cover what you're saying.
I just like to see it spelled out in there rather than, but more than 40%, I understand. And we can understand it here if you're telling me. But if somebody else is reading that, they're probably gonna miss that part.
Well, it wouldn't be hard to add a sentence that says anything under 40% of the threshold amount
Yeah.
does not require a.
Well, we can put a dollar amount in if once we decide on what the,
Sure.
yeah.
I see what you're saying. For simplicity purposes, just to add that statement of what 40% really means. So,
Yeah, let's put the actual figure in when we ever decide on the top line,
okay.
which I'm sure will end up being the 25,000, since that's what was recommended.
Any other questions or discussion? All right.
No, I mean,
Okay.
I agree with, I think most of us agreed with the figures last time, it was just how we put it in here.
Okay, all right. Because, and we talked about, you know, we definitely have a procedure that we do whenever we purchase anything. You know, it's a PO, it's not just them going out to, you know, purchase independently, so.
Yeah. Mayor, could you describe the purchasing procedure with purchase orders and make sure I have this 405 correct.
Let me read, hang on just a second. Does that make sense to you, just from our procedure that we do, so.
This is accurate.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, Phyllis issues the POs, and then when it comes time to pay, we have to authorize signatures on those,
Right.
you know.
So nothing just gets ordered. Everything that's bought goes through Phyllis's office and gets paid with a check signed by 2 people. So there's accountability at multiple levels.
Okay, yeah, shall be paid requiring 2 signatures. But I've seen this happen in 2 businesses I've had. And I'm not gonna make an example of any department because it upset them. But let's say that a guy in a department, and we don't have a receiving department, which we don't. Because the receiving department, somebody else pays the bills, you're kind of sure that you actually got the goods. But I've seen it where they get in cahoots with the vendor. They order the product, purchase order signed by 2 people or whatever, depending on the amount, just like we're talking here. They get in the cahoots with the vendor, and they order 25 cases. They only get 10. But they say they received 25. Then he and the vendor split the money that's left over. What in this policy prevents something like that from happening?
Well, that's fraud and theft, and Ray can put you in jail if you got caught doing that, so.
I can't hear you, Andre, I'm sorry.
What you're describing is fraud and theft, and it's illegal and it's a crime. So that's what stops you from doing it. We don't have to have anything in this policy to prevent that, because that's illegal to begin
No,
with.
I'm talking about a receiving procedure, not to prevent the crime. If I order 25 cases and it comes into my department, and I'm the only one that verifies the receipt, we got a problem. 2 people put their signatures on the receipt, it's half a problem. Still a problem, but half a problem. That's what I'm concerned about, not in this resolution. I'm talking about in a procedure for ordering goods, receiving goods, and verifying that those goods are really here. And this can go on a long time, believe me, without you catching it. Because what would happen, Phyllis, let's say, would have to start seeing an unusual routine before you saw it. If they order 25 every month, you never catch it.
And that doesn't really have to do with this, but from what I've seen so far, the majority of the time when we get, when things are received, it's all different times during the day. That same person might not even be on shift, or if it's done down at the shop, it'll be somebody even from another department that might receive it for, you know, if the water guys are out and you've got, you know, one of the other guys that are there at the shop when they come, they're the ones who sign for it. It's rare, unless I'm wrong, that it would be consistently the same person that's signing for those receivables. Sometimes because of our shifts, or just that they're dispersed out in the community sometimes when those come and those guys have to sign for it. So I haven't seen, unless Phyllis can correct me, I haven't seen the same person really receiving those goods. So it would be really hard, I think. And we do have good tracking mechanisms too for.
I stated my concern.
Okay.
We had an issue earlier this year where some stuff went missing. that was caught, so.
Yeah, yeah, so. Yeah. But we will definitely be aware of that and make sure that we're putting processes in place where that can't happen, that can't be a consistent thing. So. Okay, if there's nothing else, we're gonna pause until 6 o'clock and then start the meeting, okay?